Listen to this exchange.
Yeah, the thing about the, like, if you think the moon landing was fake, you're a moron. But it's like, the thing about it is, even if you want to say they did go to the moon, wouldn't it be reasonable to suggest that they would have had a backup plan in case they couldn't get there? Like,
sure,
like have some sort of a video footage that they shot or whatever.
Well, not only that, they filmed a lot of training footage. And they definitely tried to pass some of that training footage off as legit.
Sam Seder of the Majority Report with Sam Seder attacks one of his favorite targets, Joe Rogan, podcaster Joe Rogan, who is a big fan of spreading conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation. And Sam Seder's having none of it. Why don't we watch this video together? I'll, of course, have my opinions. That's what I'm doing here. But then I want to know what you think of the comments. Let's roll it.
The misinformation that Joe Rogan puts out, even when it's benign, is really, really problematic for our society. It's a problem across all the internet. But Joe Rogan and Spotify, his publisher and financier, they have one of the biggest platforms in the country. So when he puts out misinformation, it is a problem, even if the specific stuff is not that important. Like, here's a perfect example from just the other day. He's on with, who's this guy?
Comedian Tim Dillon.
Is he the one? He wasn't the one from Saturday Night Live, is he?
No, that's Shane Gillis.
Oh, okay. Well, they both have L's in their name. Rogan could have a very good fact-checking staff because he's extremely wealthy. Go ahead.
Yeah. When someone is in that whole race and running for president or vice president, and then the race is over and they realize that person was a liability, so they cut them off.
And you never
and
hear
then that
from
person
them.
goes wacky, like Tim Walsh.
That's right.
Did you see where he had a "fuck Trump" shirt on?
Yeah.
And he's dancing and going down an elevator. Have you seen this video?
I haven't seen. Please play it. I haven't seen it.
Please, Jamie, find that
Tim
video.
Walsh is.
But this is weird.
That was a big mistake.
Oh, a huge mistake.
They should have picked Josh Shapiro from the governor of Pennsylvania.
I think they're worried about the Jewish thing.
Well, of course, it's a big swing state.
Pause it for a second. Pause it for a second. This is honestly like, it's like a Gordian knot of stupidity here. Like, because you're going back and forth. First off, the data gets clearer and clearer that the F up by the Harris campaign was they did not recognize the polling and actively told their canvassers not to deliver us the data that the Gaza position that Harris had was hurting them. Okay, that is just pure fact. Shapiro would have made that problem even worse. It would have compounded it. If you look at the first part of their campaign, before the DNC, when Walz was going around going, they're weird, that is the peak of Harris's polling numbers. And when they shut Walz down, also very well reported, that was part of their decline. Now, maybe it's not directly attributable to it, but it disproves everything they have said up to this point. And it only gets worse in terms of being disproven.
That's actually not what we're reacting to.
That's not what we're reacting to. This is just the tee up to the absolute facepalm.
Yeah, one of the things I really love about Sam Seder is he's funny, but he's also very good at cutting through some of the noise and making some of these complicated things seem easier to understand. And I just want to take a second and clarify. We hear misinformation, disinformation, conspiracy theory, lying. We hear all of this stuff thrown around. Misinformation, all right, here's the definition I looked up online. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information that is spread by mistake with no deliberate intent to deceive. So maybe you heard something half true, or, and you're repeating it because you say, well, that sounds reasonable, and I'm repeating it. Disinformation is false information deliberately created and spread in order to deceive, mislead, or cause harm, right? So disinformation, as opposed from, like lying, when you say lying, you could say, hey, did you eat the rest of the cookies? Who, me? No, you're lying. Disinformation implies a kind of a campaign, a larger goal, an intentional negative intent. So if you say, hey, the election was stolen and you have no evidence and you've been thrown out of court, I'm just pulling this example out of nowhere. You have no evidence, you've been thrown out of court 60 times, and right? It's provably false. It's been debunked many, many times. That is disinformation. It is a calculated lie, repeated deliberately many times across many channels. Misinformation might be somebody who is in a restaurant and overhears two people talking about it forcefully and goes, wow, it sounds like, some crazy stuff went on. And they're, hey, honey, I heard this nutty thing today, and spreads it without the deliberate intent to cause harm, but the disinformation kind of metastasizes in that way. And then in this video, we also talk about conspiracy theories. We get a little more into it after I'll shut up here, but Joe Rogan just seems to have an appetite for conspiracy theories. They can be juicy and they can be fun, but they can be insidious because they're kind of like brainworms. There's a kernel of truth and they kind of get in there and they rattle around and they have a way of taking on more of a truthful feeling foothold than you maybe intend when you first get into it. And, next thing you know, you're kind of going down the rabbit hole. Anyway, let's keep watching.
Jewish thing.
Well, of course, it's a big swing state, and it would have been better.
Okay, you go full screen.
Is that really him?
No, it's not real.
It's real.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
AI generated.
Hear Jamie saying, no, it's not.
Oh, look, I can tell it's not real.
I love it. It's real.
It's not real.
It's got to be real.
It has to be
Not
real.
real.
It has to be real.
Jamie,
come on, man.
Jamie's compromised.
Look at him dancing. That is so real, Jamie.
By the way, if this was real, he might have won.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Waltz. The fuck Trump is AI generated.
No, he slaps his ass.
I mean, that is hilarious.
My
definitely.
God. First off, pause it.
Real, Jamie.
Think of where your brain has to be to think that is Tim Walz actually doing that. Like, you have to be so far gone in the bag, because if Tim Walz did that, he would be committed. Like, literally, anyone around him would be like, you've had a mental break.
Yeah, what's going on?
He's the sitting governor.
Still the governor of the state.
He's the governor of the state. And
Going around Mall of America.
his first reaction, Rogan is so desperate to believe this is true.
That's spooky.
So desperate. Like, he's literally arguing with the producer. So desperate to believe that this is true, that all reason has completely left his brain. But it also turns out, like, it's literally labeled AI generated. But go ahead.
I like that he's afraid of it. He's like, it was weird.
It was weird, man. I couldn't.
I was aroused.
It was. I mean, no.
But it's real.
It's not real.
It's got to be real.
It has to be real.
It has to be real.
Jamie,
come on, man.
Jamie's compromised.
Look at him dancing. That is so real, Jamie.
By the way, if this was real, he might have won.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Waltz. The fuck Trump is AI generated.
No, he slaps his ass.
I mean, that is hilarious.
Oh, it's definitely him. This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant by the
Jamie's
government.
compromised, and I'm worried about Jamie, and I'm worried about Grok.
Does it say that it's AI?
I mean, yes.
You say it's AI. Everybody says
The
it.
video I played on top says it's AI generated.
Rep
Oh,
Riley
so
Moore
what?
fell for an AI generated video of Minnesota. I fell for it too. And you know why I fell?
Okay, no, okay. No. Pause it there. He's going to explain to you why he fell for it. And you understand, of course, think of the reasons why you could fall for it. It could be because he has a deficiency, or it could be, of course, completely not his fault. God.
Fell for an AI generated video of Minnesota. I fell for it too. And you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's capable of doing something.
But that's his
dumb.
essence.
He's so weird.
He's a weird guy.
Proof that he's weird is that I think he's so weird that would be true.
What did Chris Cuomo say about AOC?
I think it was the exact same thing, that it seems like that's something AOC would have said.
Yeah.
It is like just fascinating how I go to the next clip. Just to give you another example, there's another clip. This has nothing to do with politics, but it does have to do with misinformation. And I don't know how I came across this, and I don't know who this dude is.
He's a podcaster who podcasts on the fringe of free thought or something.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
So, like, and listen, some of this stuff is okay. Like, I used to listen coast to coast. I used to listen coast to coast, both with Art Bell and George Nari. And, but if you are a major corporation and you have a guy who's out there who has access to people like, I don't know, the President of the United States, top officials like huge billionaire corporate titans like Elon Musk and whatnot. You have a responsibility as a corporation. I mean, he's owned by a corporation, Spotify. They have a responsibility to make sure that they're not putting out total garbage bullshit. Listen to this exchange.
Yeah, the thing about if you think the moon landing was fake, you're a moron. But it's like, the thing about it is, even if you want to say they did go to the moon, wouldn't it be reasonable to suggest that they would have had a backup plan in case they couldn't get there? Like,
sure,
like have some sort of a video footage that they shot or whatever.
Well, not only that, they filmed a lot of training footage. And they definitely tried to pass some of that training footage off as legit. Mm-hmm. That's proven. Like
Pause it for a second. Okay. This is going to come to a shock to everybody, but it is not proven.
Okay, so I'm not going to play the whole video. It goes on for another 10 minutes or so, but if you want to check it out, go to the Majority Report with Sam Seder and look this one up. It's worth it. I mean, Sam Seder's great in general. You should subscribe to him and subscribe to me and give me a like. Thanks. But I love that he brings up Coast to Coast AM, which is this radio show where they talk about aliens and ghosts and Bigfoot and stuff like that. And it's fun. It's a bunch of kooks that call in and they talk about, I had sex with a ghost, or, Bigfoot kidnapped me. And, it really does feel like the audience for shows like Coast to Coast AM have become MAGA voters. They've moved from that sort of fringe, tinfoil hat, quadrant, whatever that is, into politics. And Joe Rogan feels like one of those dudes. Like, he just delights. His imagination runs away with it. He's talking about Tim Waltz, and he says, "It's got to be real. I love it. It's got to be real." And then he's disappointed when his producer insists that it not only does it say on the video that it's not real, but it's clearly fake. And I think it's funny when Sam Seder points out that, about Joe Rogan, where does your brain have to be that you even indulge this? But this is what's insidious about that conspiracy theory thinking. It's a slippery slope. So the more you indulge it, and the more you turn it over in the mind, the more you're repeating that lie inside your head 1,000 times. And a little bit of mistruth, a little bit of fun, a little bit of truth, or something that feels plausible, makes this really intoxicating cocktail of fun and, hey, maybe this answers some of the blanks. And then it starts to get stickier and stickier. The more you indulge in it, the more plastic I think your brain gets to that kind of thinking. And now that it's infused politics, Rupert Murdoch and tabloids both leverage this kind of like insidious, fill in the blank. Or here's another example, Tucker Carlson. Right? Just asking questions, but it's like, could it be that what they're putting in your water is causing, it's like, Well, the answer is no. There's no evidence of that or whatever, but he's planting, by asking these leading questions, he's planting these insidious, kind of conspiracy mind worms into you, unlike RFK Jr.'s literal brainworm. But I don't know. I think we keep trying to have these kind of good faith conversation with people on the right. Some of them are disinformation artists, propaganda artists that are deliberately trying to spread the lies for whatever their particular reason for doing it is. And there are a few, whether it's racism or Christian nationalism or, authoritarianism, whatever their particular bent on it is, they're doing that. And then there's people that just kind of get swept up in the misinformation of it. And you could call them gullible or whatever, but they're sort of sliding down this slippery mental slope in our media environment when you're in a silo of just other people repeating the same things you want to believe or you've started to believe, and it becomes this echo chamber, and they're not exposed to anything else. We keep having conversations in good faith with folks like this, trying to wake them up, right? You're not going to change the mind of the disinformationists because they're on a mission. So they show up in a nice tie and try and sound plausible. They're very deliberately being disingenuous because they want to sane wash and whitewash and launder their despicable anti-American ideas. And, if they go on a talk show that is a more mainstream talk show, that's good for them. That's just another set of ears to sort of sow their lies into. The misinformationalists, we're trying to wake those people up, and there's a question as to whether or not that's possible if they continue to, self-reinforce in their media silo. I don't know. The debate that I hear from Mehdi Hassan and sometimes from Seder here, but, on all these different channels we do, is it worth platforming some of these voices? Like Scott Jennings on CNN. Is that helping anything to have a counterpoint? He's just clearly disingenuous and part of a propaganda machine. But Abby Phillip and everybody else keeps trying to sort of convince Scott Jennings of how crazy his ideas are. It's not working, right? And if anything, Scott Jennings digging in his heels and just crossing his arms more tightly and going deeper. Is it worth it, or are we just making it worse by platforming it? And I don't know. I don't even know that I have a clear. I kind of go back and forth on it, right? Because I think on the one hand, you got rational-leaning people who are open to it and they want it. You need to show them how crazy some of this stuff is. And on the other hand, if you got people who are already tipping the other way, they're just being reinforced. And I don't know that there's a way to measure the efficacy of it. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What do you think?